This cute bunny knocks people out like Mike Tyson.
Pretty little baby.
And that's not where the similarities with Tyson end. She's only the second undisputed bantamweight champion in history. But even these 4 most prestigious belts in boxing don't stop Cherneka Johnson from going all out and having fun. Basically, Cherneka is who Ronda Rousey imagined herself to be when she was shadowboxing. But unlike Ronda, Johnson knocks her opponents out. And when she faces adversity in a fight, she doesn't quit, she wins. What's crazy is that this unique person started boxing very late. While Mike Tyson was training since childhood and became a pro at just 16, Cherneka Johnson only started training at 16 years of age. That's extremely late for boxing, and she knew it. Because of that, she left home early. Cherneka basically lived in the gym and tried to spar only with men to close the skill gap. That's how she developed a unique style for women's boxing. She pressures her opponents to force them into attacking first, then uses head movement and unleashes explosive, fast combinations that often lead to knockouts. If that reminds you of Mike Tyson's style, you're right. But what makes it even more shocking is that a woman managed to generate that kind of explosive power in the ring. Because of that, it's actually hard to do a proper breakdown of her early fights. They end before they even begin. Here are Cherneka Johnson's first 4 fights. It's only in her 5th fight that Johnson finally faced an opponent who didn't fold like a cheap lawn chair from her power. The fight starts immediately with activity. The opponents exchange light punches.
Similar train Tommy McCurry's been in the game. Tommy, get behind this young girl. She's
It's clear that Johnson is more technical, throwing sharp jabs that land on target, though still not very powerful. We also see her right hook. It is clearly stronger than the jab. It seems that this hook is her main weapon, and it's worth noting how effectively she uses it. She creates much more danger, while it's obvious that Carol is wary of her and often gives up the center of the ring.
She likes taking a step backwards.
No, she looks like she wants to.
That was a nice leg
And a
and
right.
another one.
Even while being near the ropes, she imposes her fight, showering her opponent with powerful combinations. Once again, we see that same deadly hook.
Good body shot from Earl. She's actually moving up and standing in front of her opponent.
Yeah.
Tommy McCurry's asking her to step off the right hand. Look, just overwhelmed there, I think, Graham.
The final round starts with a brawl. Neither fighter has anything left to lose. Carol's punches become much heavier, but Cherneka continues to consistently and effectively use her jabs. Earl starts missing a lot while trying to attack. She's lucky that Johnson is also noticeably tired and doesn't fully capitalize on counterattacks.
Yep. Nice. She's very tough. Look at that right hand, and she's right to the body from Earl, but right to the head came back from John.
Toward the end of the round, the fighters begin throwing punches at each other like machine guns, but it doesn't lead to a result. A good win for Johnson by decision.
Solid right to the body from Johnson. She's fighting back hard now. She's answering the challenge, Neeks Johnson. Jab from Johnson, there's a bell.
5 red corner, Sugar Cherneka Johnson.
Over time, Cherneka decided to honor her roots and got a traditional Maori tattoo on her shoulder and arm. But her love for her people doesn't stop there. She often performs the haka during her ring walk. And it's not just for show, because around this time she begins her legendary run to collect all the belts in the bantamweight division. Before Cherneka, only one woman in boxing history had ever managed to unify all the belts. So for a mission this monumental, a little ancestral strength definitely doesn't hurt. Next, in March 2018, Johnson claimed the vacant WIBA heavyweight title. She defeated Runafa Kokrachong by technical knockout. Now we move to August 9th, where Cherneka faces Arasa Nimnoy. Sugar immediately starts throwing great combinations, not forgetting about her hooks. She controls the ring well, pushing her opponent to the ropes. Nimnoy's problem is that she also barely defends herself, and when she finally tries to, it doesn't help. Johnson once again traps her against the ropes and starts bombing her with jabs and hooks. One of those explosive hooks sends Arasa to the canvas for the first time.
And Tim Zhu, and she won by unanimous decision in a 6-round contest, and that was in May, so she's had a bit of time off to get prepared for this fight, and I think she's going to look to make a statement here against the Thai. But the Thai's had 45 amateur fights, 35 wins and 10 losses.
Yeah, and look, it's good to have Sugar on the big-time boxing show. Sam Labruna and the team. She's moved down there with Sam Labruna, and they're a great team, and look, they're going places.
She's on the front foot here, showing her aggressive nature. There's a right hand down the barrel, put down the Thai.
Just too strong and looks too strong.
She gets up, although it's clearly difficult for her, but she only lasts a couple of seconds. Johnson completely breaks down her body and she falls, curls up, and has no intention of getting back up. A very Yarkea victory.
I think she's been hit with that body shot, and that's it. She wants out.
Yeah, she looks quite intimidated, and Sugar Neeks is going for the kill.
That was beautiful.
She senses blood in the water, and it's good night, Charlie. Sugar Neeks Johnson.
It was the next fight that made Cherneka Johnson a local star and attracted the attention of American promoters. First, she delivered what might be the most eye-catching weigh-in ever, showing up covered in nothing but paint. Yeah, that happened. But when a fighter is attractive, it's often hard for people to believe in their grit, which makes promoters hesitant to invest. This fight proved to everyone that Johnson isn't a tourist in boxing. She's a real Maori warrior. Unfortunately, I can't even show most of the fight because YouTube blocks it due to the brutal cut and the amount of blood. Even Top Rank can't upload the full fight. Long story short, Cherneka suffered an accidental cut that basically stretched across half her forehead. Blood was pouring over both her and her opponent. For most of the fight, Johnson couldn't see anything on her right side, and it got worse when her eye was also damaged. The entire white of her eye turned red. But what's insane is that Cherneka never even considered quitting. She wasn't fighting to survive, she was fighting to win. First, she dropped her opponent, then took all the remaining rounds and won by decision. That bloody war is what sparked serious interest in her from promoters. Once you get to know her better, it's actually surprising she isn't already a global superstar. Because beyond her incredible physical and mental strength, Johnson is an extremely cheerful and lively person. She loves all kinds of active hobbies and fun activities. She's not above being goofy on camera, but at the same time she never forgets her status as a champion and a role model. You can often see her in the gym training kids, which is rare for professionals of her level. The pressure from media and fans at that level is massive, and on top of that, her brother was murdered around this time. And yet, it feels like Cherneka Johnson doesn't even let it affect her. She didn't give in to emotions, didn't take a break from her career. She continued her mission to become the undisputed bantamweight world champion. May 12, 2024. Cherneka's next opponent is British boxer Nina Hughes. The WBA women's bantamweight title is on the line. The first round was more of a feeling out process, but the action starts in the second. The British fighter is very active, committing heavily to her punches, but almost everything lands on Johnson's guard. Hughes continues pressing forward, but with low efficiency. Her attacks are wide, though when they land, they are strong. The Australian starts using close range very effectively, connecting hooks well. Because of this, Nina begins to clinch more. By the 8th round, Cherneka looks very confident, chasing the British fighter and landing strong right hooks. In the 10th round, Johnson fully takes control, launching a final targeted exchange 15 seconds before the end, but Hughes withstands it. The most interesting moment happens after the fight. The judges award the victory to Cherneka, fully deserved, but the ring announcer mistakenly declares Nina Hughes the winner. He then realizes the error and announces the real winner, Cherneka Johnson. A bizarre, but still a victory. You might be surprised, but the confusion with the decision announcement led to a rematch between the two fighters. Hughes convinced many that she had actually won the first fight, and that the rematch would set things straight. But unfortunately for her, her words didn't hold up. Cherneka came into this fight much more aggressive, almost as if she had no concern about getting tired, working at a very high pace throughout the bout. This led to a technical knockout in the 7th round. Hughes's coach threw in the towel to save his fighter. By the way, this wouldn't be the last fight in Johnson's career where she beats her opponent so badly that the opposing corner throws in the towel. Her next fight might be the most important of her career, because it's the one where she can become the undisputed champion, if she manages to win. From the very first round, Johnson started landing sharp jabs and straight punches, and most importantly, they were accurate. She immediately took the initiative and chased her opponent around the ring, almost constantly attacking. It's worth noting that Cherneka barely responded. She simply couldn't. Moreover, the most dangerous moments for her were when Cherneka pushed her to the ropes and started overwhelming her with combinations. And all of this happened in the first round. In the second round, the pace only increased. Very clean jabs kept landing on the American's head. Both fighters chose a close-range strategy, simply trading heavy blows. There was only one difference. Many of Metcalf's punches hit the guard, while most of the Australians' shots landed cleanly. Cherneka controlled the center of the ring beautifully, working effectively both to the body and the head. In the 4th round, the American took a lot of damage and was sent to the canvas. This time, it was a knockdown. She got up but didn't start taking fewer hits. The fight was filled with aggression. Both fighters barely paid attention even to the referee. It felt like they were fighting to the death. At the end of the round, Johnson landed a very sharp hook to the head, visibly shaking her opponent. The Australian sensed her chance and continued attacking the head, but the bell saved Metcalf. At the halfway point of the fight, Cherneka continued to impose her game. Her heavy hooks landed cleanly to the head. This is Johnson's evolution as a boxer. She is becoming a truly dangerous machine. Cherneka was forced to literally run away from her. By the end of the 5th round, the American's situation worsened even more. She started clinching just to have any chance of staying on her feet. It looked like something snapped in Johnson. She pushed forward as if all possible evil was embodied in her opponent. She worked on Cherneka methodically and with full confidence.
Overhand right up top. Starting with the body there and coming over the top with an overhand.
The American tried to answer aggression with aggression, but it didn't bring meaningful results. On the contrary, Johnson's damaging shots only increased. Everything was flying in with such intensity that at times it became frightening to watch. It gave the clear impression that Cherneka doesn't get tired, while in Metcalf's eyes you could sometimes see fear. And from the impact of the punches landing on her head, it became frightening for the viewers as well. Some of the sounds made it feel like the American's jaw might shatter. During the break, the referee asked the doctor to examine Cherneka after such heavy blows. The American was clearly unhappy, but the fight was stopped. Moreover, after the fight, she refused to embrace Johnson. A very confident victory for Cherneka. It was in this fight that Cherneka Johnson won her 4th belt and became the undisputed world champion. And she didn't stop there. She's already defended her her undisputed status. Throughout this video, I often emphasize that she's a woman not to diminish her achievements, but on the contrary, to show how difficult it is for her to break into the mainstream despite her talent. While MMA has had mainstream female stars, in boxing it's still extremely rare, more like local exceptions. It feels like Cherneka Johnson, with her exciting style and presence, deserves to become the Ronda Rousey of boxing, the kind of star who opens the door to millions in pay-per-view sales for women's boxing. Because her technique and ferocity are in no way inferior to her male counterparts. What do you think? Can Johnson become the superstar women's boxing so badly needs?